The second half of the season is here and features the first division game of the year for the Falcons as they enter the Superdome for their first of 5 straight NFC South matchups, which starts here today with the 3-5 New Orleans Saints. Saints opening drive, and on third and 8, it's Drew Brees with a dime down the seam for 25 yards to Michael Thomas. 4 plays later, Brees throwing again, and this time he's got Ted Ginn for 14 more to make it first and goal. And on the next play, it's Brees with the give to Alvin Kamara, who easily finds his way into the end zone, and the 2-yard touchdown run gives New Orleans an early 7-0 lead. Ensuing drive, Falcons facing 3rd and 2 and able to move the chains as Devontae Freeman picks up 13 near midfield. Then after a sack makes it 2nd and 14, it's Matt Ryan throwing and finding Julio Jones for 16 into Saints territory. Then on the following play, the chains move again as Devontae Freeman shows his patience, picking up 11 more to the Saints 31. Next play, Ryan with the play fake and looking to throw, and Deuce Douglas, what the are you thinking, you idiot? Marcus Williams with the interception, and already with a 7-0 lead, the Saints take right back over. And 4 plays into their drive, it's Brees throwing and finding Michael Thomas for 10 yards across midfield to keep the drive alive. Then after another Saints first down, it's Brees with the play fake looking to throw, but it's Tack McKinley with 2 shovels of dirt as he buries Brees for the sack and says, "Are you not entertained?" And facing 3rd and 13, it's Brees faking to Kamara, standing in, loading up and firing to the end zone where Michael Thomas can't hang on, bringing up 4th down. Out comes Will Lutz for the 58-yard field goal, and he's got the accuracy, but like a bouncer to a teen with a fake ID, the crossbar sends the ball back from where it came, and the score remains 7-0. Falcons across midfield now, and in the first quarter, it's Ryan with the play fake before finding a wide-open Austin Hooper for 24 yards to the Saints 21. Second quarter now, and on 2nd and 10, it's Devontae Freeman with a huge hole and nifty moves as he picks up 16 to set up 1st and goal, where on the very next play, he gets the give again and takes it untouched into the end zone from 5 yards out and ties this one up at 7. Ensuing drive for the Saints and facing 3rd and 2, it's Brees with a play fake before being immediately dropped by Duke Riley for another sack to force a New Orleans punt. First play for the Falcons, and Ryan finds Mohamed Sanu on the crosser, and he picks up 14 and a first down to start the drive. 2 plays later, and it's 14 more as Ryan connects with Calvin Ridley, who's injured on the play and would miss the rest of this one with a broken finger. Then facing 3rd and 8, it's Ryan looking to throw and going to Ridley's replacement, Justin Hardy, who makes the tough catch to keep the drive alive. Next play, and this time it's Ryan with the screen to Ito Smith, who turns upfield, picking up blocks and then picking up another Atlanta first down, gaining 13 more on the play. And the Falcon offense continues to chug right along as the give goes to Devontae Freeman, who picks up 13 more, setting up 1st and goal. But then facing 3rd and goal, Ryan looking to throw, starts to scramble to his left before just chucking it 10 rows deep into the stands. Giorgio Tavecchio comes on, and Atlanta has to settle for a 19-yard field goal and a 10-7 lead. Saints turn now, and on 3rd and 11, Brees finds a wide-open Ted Ginn for 19 yards to keep the New Orleans drive alive. 2 plays later, and the Saints cross midfield, picking up 10 more on another Brees to Ginn connection. Then facing another 3rd down, Brees throwing again, and he goes deep down the middle for Traquan Smith, who makes the 29-yard catch down to the Atlanta 11. And on the next play, the Saints jump right back out in front as Brees once again finds Ted Ginn wide open for the 11-yard score and a 14-10 Saints lead. First play of the ensuing drive, Ryan throwing, and he finds Austin Hooper for a big gain of 27 yards to put Atlanta at midfield. 2 plays later, and it's another first down as Ryan finds Julio Jones for 10 yards. But then on 3rd and 14 with 33 seconds to go, it's Ryan to Mohamed Sanu, who drops the first down catch, so make it 4th down. Giorgio Tavecchio closes his eyes, swings his leg, and splits the uprights on a 55-yard field goal and sends the Falcons to half, trailing 14-13. Falcons get the ball to start the second half, and on their first play, it's Ryan to Jones on the slant for 18 yards and a first down. Later in the drive, 1st and 10 from the Saint 35, and it's Ryan to Hooper for 17 more inside the Saints 20. Then facing 3rd and 5 from the 12, Ryan threads the needle to Devontae Freeman, who rolls over defenders and into the end zone for the score, and the Falcons retake the lead on the opening drive of the second half as they go up 20-14. So back to the Saints offense, where Brees looks to throw, decides to test Deuce Douglas Douglas's user safety, and he responds by making the interception. Ricardo Allen takes it back to midfield as the Falcons take over, and Allen holds up a YouTube comment that says, "I love this channel, but damn dog, you doo-doo at user defense." Crying, laughing emoji. So Falcons with a chance to take control, and in Saints territory, it's Ryan to Freeman who gets just shy of the marker. Then on the next play, it's a new set of downs as Ito Smith has a huge hole, picking up 10 down to the Saints 16. And on the next play, it's another new set of downs, but going the other way as Marcus Lattimore makes the incredible diving interception. Ryan tries to force one into Julio Jones, but ends up giving it right back to the Saints. And they would waste little time as on their first play, Alvin Kamara has a huge hole, picking up 20 yards on a first down. Next play, and it's 25 more as Breeze play fakes and hits Michael Thomas deep downfield and into Falcon territory. And keep those chains moving as on the next play, it's back to Kamara on the ground, who zigzags his way to another 18 yards and first down. 2 plays later and make it first and goal as it's Kamara again for 13 yards down to the 1, and that leads to 3rd and goal from the 2, where Alvin Kamara sheds Duke Riley in the backfield and walks into the end zone, and the 2-yard score puts the Saints back out in front with a 21-20 lead. 4th quarter now, Falcons with the ball and moving the chains as Devontae Freeman picks up 11 near midfield. Then 3 plays later, facing 3rd and 3, it's Ryan fitting one into Julio Jones for 11 more and another Atlanta first down. 3 plays later, again 3rd and inches this time, and Devontae Freeman is good for 4 yards and another new set of downs. Then on 2nd and 10, it's Freeman again on the toss, picks up a block and is headed for the pylon where he wants to dive, but instead crumbles to the ground like an old lady, but it's still 1st and goal, where 2 plays later, Ryan throwing and goes to Julio Jones, who hangs on through the contact to make it 26-21 as Atlanta lines up to go for 2. And on the 2-point conversion, it's Ryan throwing again, and he's got Austin Hooper who makes the catch in the end zone, so make it 28-21 Atlanta. First play of the ensuing drive, Breeze throwing and has Jared Cook who picks up the first down, and oh no, I really am doo-doo at user defense. Cook up the sideline for 61 yards down to the Atlanta 14. But then on 3rd and 8 from the 13, Breeze looking to throw, but his controller batteries die right after the snap, and he just stands there like a statue before Devondre Campbell rushes in to drop him for the sack. Will Lutz is sent out, splitting the uprights with his 36-yard kick, and with 6:38 to go, the Falcons lead is cut to 4. So Falcons turning on their first play. It's a bubble screen to Julio Jones, who gets the sideline and throws off Alex Anzalone, picking up 28 yards across midfield. 2 plays later, 2nd and 1, and it's Ito Smith moving the chains and picking up 10 as the clock continues to roll. But then on 3rd and 8, the one thing you don't want to have happen is Ryan is buried in the backfield for a sack, but luckily kick accuracy doesn't matter, and Giorgio Tavecchio is nothing short of perfect on his 52-yard kick and pushes the Falcons lead back to 7 with 2:39 to go. So Saints need a touchdown, and out of the 2-minute warning, they move the chains on the Breeze to Michael Thomas, 12-yard completion. 2 plays later, 1:30 to go, and it's Breeze to Thomas again to move the chains as the pass goes for 10 this time. 2 plays later again, Breeze throwing and finds Alvin Kamara for 11 more and another Saints first down. Saints refuse to use their timeouts, rushing to the line, where on the next play, Breeze looking to throw, but it's Adrian Claiborne with the pressure and sack, and the Saints finally call a timeout. Then out of the timeout, Breeze throwing again with all day to throw, but decides to go short to Jared Cook, who only gets a yard. And use your timeouts, you idiots. What the are you doing? Breeze takes the snap and again just stands like a statue before Tack McKinley gets home, dropping him for the sack. Sean Payton looks to the heavens for some kind of competent AI, but all he's going to find is one huge, devastating, and potentially season-ending L. And in one of the worst managements of both timeouts and the clock, the Saints do everything in their power to make it as hard as possible to win the game and fall 31-24. New Orleans drops to 3-6 on the year with their playoff hopes almost all but over. Meanwhile, the Falcons win moves them to 5-4 on the year as they find themselves over 500 for the first time this season and will continue their run of 5 straight division games next week as they head to Carolina. All right, guys, so a hard-fought division win there, and that's going to probably pretty much spell the end to the Saints this season, as well as keep our playoff hopes alive. But you kind of see at the end there as well part of why I haven't been having much fun with the piss-poor CPU clock management, and it takes what was a pretty fun game and then spoils it at the end with that kind of stuff that CPU players really have been dealing with for years now. But regardless, we pick up the win and move to 5-4, which makes us 5-1 after the 0-3 start, with things finally starting to come together here. But moving into some team stuff and starting with scouting, once again, no draft stories this week, so it's straight to the draft board where we added a pair of strong safeties in Donovan Culver from LSU and Terrell Ellison from North Dakota, both of which are 4th round projections, with Culver actually being a 3rd round true talent. And then lastly is left end Charles Piercy out of BYU, and he is a 5th round projection as well as true talent. Moving to some negotiations, we start with defensive end Steven Means, who we will be withdrawing negotiations with. He's been on injured reserve the whole year, so he hasn't played, and finding a replacement that matches his talent level shouldn't be that difficult. And then second up is strong safety Kamal Ishmael, who wants just over $4 million over 2 years, and we're going to be tabling those negotiations. I've got Keanu Neal entrenched as the starter currently, but with JJ Wilcox and now Ishmael as pending free agents, I'm going to have to figure out what to do for a backup, and the answer might just be one of those 2 safeties that you saw scouted earlier. On to the player upgrades for the week. We start off with linebacker Devondre Campbell, who goes from a 79 to an 80 with +1 agility, +2 awareness, +3 man coverage, and +1 zone coverage. And then we have a pair of corners as Isaiah Oliver starts things off, and he is one of our focus players and reaches a 74 overall by going up 2 on his awareness and press ratings and up 1 on man coverage. And then lastly, we have Kendall Sheffield, who goes from a 68 to a 69 overall with +1s to his man coverage, play rec, and tackle, and also sees a +3 boost to his zone coverage. But that covers the team side of things, so it's around the league we go, where on Thursday night, the Chargers and Raiders played to a 38-38 tie. Moving to Sunday, the Ravens demolished the Bengals 42-0 in Cincinnati. Browns hammer the Bills, while the Packers' momentum continues with a 45-35 win over Carolina. Lions win in OT over the Bears. Jets win the Big Apple battle over the Giants. Chiefs, Cardinals, Dolphins, and Rams all come up with road victories. Then on Sunday night, the Cowboys win 28-14 over the Vikings. And on Monday night, the Seahawks beat their division rival, taking down the 49ers 35-21. Looking at the standings, the Patriots had the week off, and victories by the Dolphins and Jets pulled them both to within a game of first place. In the North, the Ravens moved to 7-2 and hold a game lead over the 6-3 Browns. In the South, the Jaguars lead at 5-4, but only by a game over the 4-5 Colts. Then out West, the Chiefs win to move to 7-3, and the Chargers tie the last place Raiders, which leaves them in second place. On the NFC side, the Cowboys currently hold the #1 seed and a 1-game lead over the Redskins in the East. Lions at 6-3 lead the North, with the Bears right behind at 5-4. Then in our division, the Bucs lose to Arizona but still lead the way at 6-3, while we move into a tie for second place with Carolina and are only a game back. Then out West, the Rams lead at 6-3, but the Cardinals have won 4 in a row and sit only a half game back of them. The Week 10 Offensive Player of the Week for the AFC is Phillip Rivers of the Chargers. The 2004 4th overall pick by the Giants completed 38 of his 50 attempts, throwing for 438 yards and 4 touchdowns to take home the award. However, all of his efforts resulted in him having a big old smooch with his sister as his Chargers tied the Raiders on Thursday night. On the NFC side, it was fellow first-round quarterback Aaron Rodgers of the Packers winning the award. The 2005 first-rounder from Cal was 28 of 33 passing for 332 yards and 5 scores through the air, which was good for a 148.1 passer rating. Rodgers' lights-out performance helped his Packers come away with a 45-35 home win over Carolina. Defensively, the AFC Player of the Week again came from that Thursday night incest smooch fest as Garyon Conley takes it home. The third-year corner from Ohio State found himself in on 8 tackles and picked off Offensive Player of the Week Phillip Rivers and returned it 32 yards for a score in their Thursday night tie with the Chargers. Then on the NFC side, what would a video be without us providing a Player of the Week award? And this week, it's Saints safety Marcus Williams taking it home. Williams notched 10 tackles while also sacking and picking off Matt Ryan in the Saints' 31-24 loss you saw earlier. Moving on to the league leaders and starting with the passers, it's AFC Offensive Player of the Week Phillip Rivers leading in yards with just under 2,900. Reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes leads in passing touchdowns with 23, and Dak Prescott's 126.9 passer rating is also good for tops in the league. As for the rushers, Ezekiel Elliott leads the way in rushing yards and becomes the first running back to crack the 1,000-yard mark on the season. And then it's all Todd Gurley as he holds a share of the lead in rushing touchdowns with 7 and is tops in yards yards per carry with his 5.8 mark. On to the receiving leaders, where Julio Jones has taken back his top spot in receptions now with 60. Jones also becomes the first receiver to crack 1,000 yards and continues to lead the way there. Then lastly, Keenan Allen adds a pair of scores against the Raiders, giving him a league-leading 10 on the year. Then lastly, for the defense, our own Deion Jones enters triple digits for tackles and leads the way with 106. Everson Griffin was sackless this past week, but still holds the league lead with 9. And then tied among many players with 3 interceptions on the year is Ravens cornerback Marlon Humphrey. Looking forward to week 11, it's the Steelers and Browns kicking things off on Thursday night. We kick Sunday off as we head to Carolina in a huge division game between 5 and 4 teams. Cowboys head to Detroit, Jaguars, Colts, and Bills, Dolphins in division action. Ravens host the Texans, Broncos travel to Minnesota, Jets at Redskins, Saints at Bucks, and Cardinals at 49ers. Bengals travel to Oakland, and New England travels to Philly for a Super Bowl 52 rematch. Then on Sunday night, it's the 5 and 4 Bears at the 6 and 3 Rams. And on Monday night, it's a huge AFC West game as the 7 and 3 Chiefs take on the 6 and 1 Chargers in Mexico City. But that does it for week 10, everybody. We start this run of 5 straight division games on the right note with a win over the Saints and look to keep momentum next video as we head to Carolina to take on Cam Newton and the Panthers. Hope you guys enjoyed the highlights, commentary, and around the league graphics. As always, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Hope to see you back next video, and until...